Hello, Carey. Thank you for being here today. This is just a dialogue. We want to just have more conversations with people from our community to hear their stories and talk about what we can do as a community to make our city better. I met you at the first town hall meeting that we did in Whitehaven. You told a little bit about your story. I just want to open it up and you just tell us a little bit about like what part of Memphis you're from and tell us a little bit of your story.
Okay, well, a little bit about my story. I'm a true Memphian. I'm from North Memphis and South
No,
Memphis.
okay.
My mom's from Riverside, as they call it, Carver High School area, West Person and Hanover Street. My dad is from North Memphis, Jackson and Hollywood. So that's kind of why I went to Carver High School and Central High School
Okay.
growing up. Definitely.
Nice.
Yes, but my life, all my life, I think I was born to be an entrepreneur. Started off, it's kind of funny, but started off stealing from the store and selling those items at school for to make money because my mom was single, hustled, worked very hard, but wasn't home because she had to provide for us. Nevertheless, that's how we grew up, and from elementary, high school, I grew up and I began to hang out with my dad's side of the family more. And through my dad's side, my uncle Ken Wilson, he's a entrepreneur. He's the one who got me into the sign business and taught me pretty much everything that I know about signs today. But it's also through that story, through working for my uncle, that I began to I don't know, just gain my independence very early.
Yeah.
When you going to school, you buying your own clothing, driving your own car, living in your own house at a young age. You take on a.
How young?
I was like 16 years old. 15 I got my first car. 16, staying independently by myself, and so on. That's where kind of how by working for him, I was able to do that. But also, I was also just as much as I was a businessman, I had a after school life too. When I was growing up. I'm sorry, but I grew up in, like I said, in Riverside. I got kicked out of Carver High School for I got jumped by a bunch of guys, and I ended up taking a gun to school because those guys jumped me. So
you brought a gun for protection.
I brought a gun for protection. So ended up getting caught with the gun at school, and I got kicked out of school. Went to juvenile, spent a few nights in juvenile court, did house arrest, went from house arrest, and I had to go to the alternative school for 180 days for a school year. And it was at alternative school that I really began to get my focus back on my studies, got my grades all the way up, and I left the alternative school, went to Central High School. And at Central, that's when I got into the arts, still working at my uncle's sign company, but it was at that alternative school that I kind of got into it with gangs and, liking that lifestyle and enjoying, that, part of life, But from there, I still, it never took me away from what I wanted to be. I was still always a business first kind of guy. I always did well in school. I always, achieved my goals, but it was as I began to mix that street lifestyle with the business that my uncle was running that my life began to take that detour. Because when I was 18 years old, at which I was a senior at Central at the time, somebody that worked for my uncle's company robbed the company and stole like $12,000 in a vehicle from the company. Me being 18, very, I'll say I was hot-headed. I was a really cool kid, but, when it came to family, I'm very very protective, very overprotective. So when that happened in the community, people, it got around, and I just put the word out, like, if y'all see him, let me know. And maybe a week after it happened, somebody let him know, and I beat the guy up, and he died from his injuries.
Oh man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Really?
sir. So that's how my, I was facing life plus 60 because they charged me with first-degree murder, especially aggravated kidnapping, because I beat the guy up, and he lived at my uncle's sign shop at the time. So we took him from the house where he was at back to the sign shop, trying to assist him, give him help because of his injuries and things. But, at that time it was too late. So the police were called, and like I said, the rest is here.
Man,
18 years later, I did 13 years on that for that situation.
Man, that's crazy. So you are, what are you doing now?
I'm in the sign business myself now.
So you were, how long ago?
This was 18 years ago now.
So
well,
you got
July,
out 5 years ago.
I got out. We have four and a half, almost 5 years. July will be a full 5 years I've been home. No hiccups, no anything with the law.
So how has your journey been since you got back?
Since I've been back, it's been a roller coaster. I mean, it's been fun. I'm a learner, so I enjoyed, just the getting to know the community again, reestablishing myself as a human being first, as a business owner again. But when I came home, it was very hard for me because of closed doors. I didn't know that it was going to be, because of the programs that I took, because of the education that I had. I thought that they would go off of that, that they would go off the education that I obtained. But, having a felon, especially telling someone that you have been to prison for murder, is a very hard conversation, and everyone isn't forgiving about that. So that's what made me go ahead, and because of the closed doors, like I tried truck driving school, I tried different types of employment, but once they find out, some would open the door, but once they find out that's what I went to prison for, they terminate me, or I have to be look somewhere else. So that's pretty much why.
Did you get an opportunity to reconcile with the family? Or have you had dialogue with the family?
No, I hadn't. I had dialogue with the family the day I was sentenced. And that was the main thing that I said to them, that I know there's not anything that I can say to bring your child back or make up for what I've done. But I was very sorry, because my victim, and I don't want to say but Philip was a very good man. He was, I was 18 years old, and I almost killed myself on my 18th birthday. And he came and got me. I was drinking and driving, and bust the tires on my vehicle. And he was the only person that I called about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to come pick me up and make sure I got home safely. So it was very, emotional for me, because here I was 53 days later in prison for his murder.
Man,
Yes, sir.
That's tough, man. So as you look at Memphis now, and I've been in office for about 60 days now,
Right.
and what I'm working to do is try and change our city. I mean, there are so many young people that have taken the wrong steps. They've made mistakes. They've done things similar to your past. And what I'm trying to do is figure out how we get to them before they get to that point.
Definitely.
How do we change their path? We know that you have to be accountable for actions. You had to be accountable for yours.
Definitely.
And, you've done your time, and you're working now to, raise your family and do all those things. What advice would you give to me as a new mayor on, how we can help our city?
I believe one of the things that you're already doing is you're out here and you're on the road. I thought it was very commendable of you, even though I wouldn't have made it to to the platform that day to speak with you if your willingness to communicate with us wasn't there. you could have cut short because you already told us your time, the time had elapsed. So I feel that the dialogue, the communication is very important, but also as a mayor, getting out and looking these people in their eyes, talking to these children just as much as you're talking to, I don't want to say overseers, but the people that respond, just as much as talking to principals, just as much as these children voices need to be heard, because they're crying out. I mean, that's the reason why our facilities are so full now, because I've walked into houses because I've done facility maintenance and things of that nature, and I've worked around these children, and sometimes children are so excited just to see an adult look in their eyes, to see, hey, he sees me, he cares about me. So checking on, getting out, doing what you're doing, this citywide tour that you're doing, going to different schools, going to different communities, that's a very big start. So I want to commend you on that.
I appreciate
and,
that.
That's a very good start. But also, it's giving these young kids something to do. I know that's a lot to say, something today, but me as an entrepreneur that works solely with entrepreneurs, I'm in the sign business, so all I do is work with other entrepreneurs throughout the city. That's a network. That's a network of positive people, positive influences, that a lot of these entrepreneurs need these children to come work in their small businesses. I see help wanted signs all the time, and then every time I get it, I try to connect it with somebody from the community that can, use their resource, because these children, I believe one of my favorite rappers, Common, said, we need the wisdom of the elders and young people's energy. So if we can combine that by using these young minds with the wisdom that our elders have, that's what we need. We need growth in our community. We need restoration of a village mindset, and I think we'll be all right.
Man, it sounds like you've been listening to me, because I literally just was at a church 2 weeks ago, and that's the message I've been saying when I've gone places, is that I want us to be the village. I want us to be the village again. Back in the day, we had older folks that would pull us to the side, pull us on the coattail. If you see us doing the wrong thing, didn't matter if I was your kid or not. You would pour something into me that get me to think differently. And I think that's part of the formula for how we get our city where we want it to go. So if you were, you had questions, thoughts, things that confuse you about government. I mean, I might not have the answer, but I'm just giving you an opportunity to ask me anything.
Well, I was on Google when I believe your assistant, Miss Penelope, said, the mayor would like to talk to you. I was like, me? What do I say? You know what I'm saying? But I think that we, as a community, do need to understand what your role is. As our, as our first, you're the first man, really, of the city, as far as I go. But so everybody's looking to you, so I believe I want to know, how can people like myself that have been through what I do, how can we truly, get access to you and to volunteer, to open up, to be more available for programs or things that can happen, or because I know a lot of guys. I have a network of a lot of friends that are not about anything negative. They just want to help any way they can.
Man, and I appreciate you saying that, because I think the thing that I want people to understand is that I'm one person, and I serve as the ambassador for our city, and I want to rally us to a different place. But this work is going to take everybody. And I think it's really important that people like you and others tell their story. Much has been made about the conversation I had with some young folks that have been involved in the gang lifestyle. And one of the things they said that just kind of blew me away was, they were like, bro, you just don't realize how much power you got. If you come to our hood and you talk to them directly, that's so different than any message we can give them. They don't see anybody that looks like you. that talks like you, that comes from where we come from, that have made it to where you are.
Right.
And what that says to me is that we need many more black men that have had stories, that have been where they are, to go back and give them that story. And I think that will show them that, you know, there are different paths, there are different pathways. You made some mistakes that they might be getting ready to make.
Right.
You can give them a nugget that'll make them say, before I go do this, what might happen?
Right.
What might go wrong?
Right.
And I think that is what I'm really asking everybody to do, you and others.
Right.
So it's less about me.
Right.
I mean, you don't need me, you need them. I need you to get them.
Yeah.
I need you to tell your story, whatever neighborhood you're from, whatever community you can get into. That's going to be the most compelling thing for our city, because we got to change the energy. Like, we have to turn this thing from being so negative and down to being positive and aspirational. Like, who do we really want to be?
Right.
And I think we need to put that message front and center and start telling the world about our positive attributes, not just the things that are going wrong.
Not just the negative, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. What was something else that I was posing, but
well, this doesn't have to be the last, so
right.
If you have additional comments, questions, I mean, feel free to reach out to us and our team. You know, what we're doing today is really just trying to have dialogues that we feel like are going to move the ball down the field for our community. We know that talking is talking, and we need action in our city, but we also need people to feel like we're going in a different direction. Right. So it's the both and. You couple those actions with the meaningful dialogues, and it changes the way people feel and how they take action based off those feelings, and then their perception of positive growth becomes the reality. Definitely. As opposed to the perception of the negative activity becoming reality.
Yes, sir. For sure.
I heard that you might have worked on a project in downtown Memphis.
Oh, yes. So I've worked on 2 projects. You know, I never like to neglect to speak about Makita's Cookies.
Yeah.
And they have a new downtown location. But also I worked on a Money Bath Spa. She's in the North Main, which is Old Main, North Main. What is that? South Main.
South Main.
So she's on South Main, so which is historic and it's landmarked. So these are all different levels of permits I had to pull for this signage. But I met Miss Crystal Amani, who is the owner of that place, and it's an experience.
And I think she has been a partner to Downtown Memphis Commission, which is the organization I just left. So
awesome.
That's awesome. I'm glad to know that you had those connections with building up our downtown.
Yes, sir.
Signs are a really, really important part of the vibrancy and the infrastructure of our city. So I just want to let you know that I appreciate you telling your story. Your story is powerful, and you are an example of what redemption looks like. You did a bad thing, you owned up to it, you did the time that was required, and you came out and you're making something happen for your life. And I don't want you to discount that. I don't want anybody to discount what you are doing, because there are so many people that can look to you as a roadmap for how to redeem themselves after things might have gone wrong.
Yes, sir. And well, that's definitely what my life is all about now, is that I can't give the life back that I've taken, but I definitely want to just say that every moment from now on is redemption for me. So every business relationship, it's all about the service that I can provide for helping others and doing for others. So I will go out into the community, continue to tell my story, help out as much as I can, so that it'll put a little light back into the city and into sign life. You know, just doing it how I do it. But I wanted to leave you with something that Miss Emma taught me from a money down bath spa. But she told me when I was doing business with her, I went in to shake her hand, and she said, I don't shake hands because my heart is cleaner than my hands will ever be. And I really appreciated that. And so I want to, I want us to all start focusing on the heart of the matter, you know what I'm saying? And as we get to know each other, let's not just judge each other by what we see all the time or what we've heard, but take that time to look each other in the eye and get to know each other for who we are today.
That's powerful, my brother. I mean, I think there's so much heart in this city. There's so much love in this city. That's why I do what I do. I look at this as a life calling. It's more than a job for me. I feel like we are on a mission to change the direction of our city, and it starts with the heart. It starts with love. It starts with us really showing other aspects of our personality as a city, and using that to propel us to heights we hadn't seen before.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes,
man, I appreciate you. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you as well. I appreciate you. And this is a step towards that redemption.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank
absolutely.
y'all. I'm sorry, Memphis. Thank you.
Yes.